This is how to play like Harry Kane. All right, Harry. 3 things that all top goal scorers need to have.
They need to have confidence, for sure. When you see the very best strikers in the world, they always have got confidence. No matter if they've missed a few chances or anything, you always back yourself to score the next one. I guess that kind of leads on to the second one, self-belief. Always believing in yourself. I think from a young age, I've always had that self-belief, always believed I was going to score, always believed, give me the chance, I'll make the difference. Yeah, then I guess the third one is finishing. You've got to be a good finisher to be a top striker, and a lot of hard work went into my career from a young age all the way through, practicing, working on finishing, different types of finishing, and yeah, that's what I believe, got me to the very top.
Cool, so you touched on mentality a little bit there. Can you talk about how that mentality separates the very top elite finishers in the game like yourself from the average player?
Yeah, I think, and there's so many good strikers out there's so many players who probably score lots of goals in training and in games, but you see sometimes, they'll miss a few chances, their heads will drop, and, it might take them quite a few games to get back to the level, or they might not get back to the level. So I always think, just being confident, having self-belief that, if I miss a chance, the next one's around the corner, I back myself to score. And always trying to spin a positive on it. So consistency is really important, especially for a striker, to be able to produce for your team and score goals for your team every year in, year out, is a sign of, I think, what separates the great strikers from the good strikers. That's what I try and do. I try and improve every year, and yeah, by doing that, I feel like I score more goals or create more chances throughout the games.
Now, I want to talk about penalties just quickly, because to me you're one of the most consistent penalty takers in the game. Walk us through a little bit of your mentality when you step up to take a penalty.
Yeah, I think that for me the most important thing with penalties is routine. I practice every week the same routine, I have the same run up, I do the same breaths, everything I do I try and treat the same, so that when I get into a high pressure situation, because I think every footballer would tell you, taking a penalty or in a penalty shootout is the most pressure you'll feel in that one moment when everyone's watching you. So I try and take that away from it, so when I'm in the game and I put the ball down, I just kind of go into my zone, go into my routine, just something I've done most days, every week in practice, and that really helps me. Of course, I know I'm going to miss penalties, there's going to be times where you don't execute the way you want to execute, but try and be consistent enough where, I do the right things over and over, and 9 times out of 10, I back myself to score.
Final question for you, a piece of advice that you may have received as a kid that stuck with you right throughout your career. Can you think back to what that might have been?
It's a good question. I wouldn't say there's one that stands out. I've been lucky enough to have loads of good coaches and good people around me throughout my whole career. But I think it's kind of what I touched on earlier. The 2 things I say to any young boy or girl growing up wanting to be a footballer is to have self-belief first and foremost, and a hard work ethic, because they're the 2 things that can really separate you from the rest. They're the 2 things that helped me separate myself from my other teammates when I was younger, and just that drive to get better and improve, and that self-belief that you're good enough to do it. Yeah, those combined can be really powerful.
Amazing, very insightful. Thanks, Harry. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.